Hello and welcome to the weekly podcast, The Kate and Eric Show, brought to you by Faith, Family, and Friends. So today's episode, there's a lot to cover. This is, of course, the week of 9/11. That was Monday, so I want to obviously pay tribute to that. What happened in 2001, and then also what happened in 2012 with what happened in Benghazi. Because I feel like that one does not get as much attention. So we'll get into that, and then a whole bunch of other things. It's a great show. It's a great. There's lots to talk about. As I do show prep here, there's just lots and lots of stuff to talk about. But first, real quick, before I get into all that, of course, there is the sports update, and what a weekend it was. BYU and FSU crushed both of their teams. I can't remember FSU played Southern Miss, and they beat them 66-13. Which is great because now FSU is ranked number 3rd in the country. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty sweet. I'm very excited about that. And then BYU dominated Southern Utah. What an opponent there. 41-16. And now BYU starts with the big boys now. We're done with Sam Houston, Southern Utah. We will be moving on to Arkansas. And then from Arkansas, the Big 12 teams come in. So the test will be this weekend. So it'll be interesting. Arkansas it'll be in Arkansas, so that will be pretty exciting. I'm excited about that. And then, of course, the big game that happened, the big one, Alabama and Texas. Texas visiting Tuscaloosa and came in and beat Alabama 34-24. Oh, what a happy day. Nick Saban was not happy. Alabama fans were not happy, but everybody else was. We could not be happier. And so to celebrate that win, I'm going to play a little song. Just a minute. All right, and how about that? The Texas fight song. Oh, what a beautiful game. It was exciting. There were celebrities. Of course, Matthew McConaughey was there. It was just one of the greatest games I have watched. And rightfully so, Texas wins. They should have won last year, but I'll take the win here this year. So it was great. It was a great win. Texas is now ranked, I believe they are 4th now with that win over Oklahoma. So here we go. If Texas is back, it's one game, but if Texas is really back, I think Sarkisian is doing a great job. Quinn Ewers, their quarterback, is doing an amazing job. So if they can keep this up, they have Wyoming this week, so hopefully that's a win. Once they get through that, it will be very, very, very fun. It's a very fun season for college football. And then, of course, the NFL. We are in week 2. And there was a bunch of crazy games. Of course, the big news, Aaron Rodgers is out for the entire season after 4 plays. 4 plays, he played as a Jet. And he's done. So If anybody was wondering what happened, he got injured, he tore his Achilles, and yeah, he's out for the year. So BYU's former quarterback Zach Wilson took over, and they won the game. So that was great. Buffalo lost. There was a whole bunch of upsets. The 49ers crushed Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. Green Bay won. The Cowboys, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but holy crap, they just obliterated the Giants 40-0. And if I didn't talk about your team, I apologize, but that's kind of the big news. So yeah, it was a great football year, or a great football week. Every single one of my teams won this week, which is kind of a rarity because either one of them, one or multiple, always end up losing. And then of course you have the MLB, and the Astros are hanging on for dear life for first place by a game. Over, I believe it's the Rangers. They are over the Rangers by a game. Seattle a game and a half. So it's the end of the season here will be very interesting. Very interesting. Very fun. So that's the sports update. The first 6 or 7 minutes here. So now I want to go over and talk about 9/11. So, it's very interesting to see, because, my kids obviously weren't alive during 9/11. Even some of my siblings were barely alive, meaning that, they weren't they just had been either born or they were really young. So it's interesting, kind of the generation gap, for those of us that were old enough to remember, I was 18 years old. I had just graduated from high school the spring before, and I actually was working at. I was living in Utah. We were living, my parents and I were living in Utah, and siblings and everything. We were living in Utah at the time, and I was working for the airport, the Salt Lake City airport. And I was working for a company that was contracted by Delta to go in and clean the planes, and so it was, and then we would supply them, obviously pre 9/11, they had all kinds of meals and all kinds of other stuff, food and drinks and all that kind of stuff. It was a very, very different world, obviously. And so I had been working there for, I can't remember how long, but for a while. And I had just I worked the night shift, so I think it was from like 2 to 10 or something like that. And so I had gotten off, and so I was, I was 18, obviously a teenager. You'd sleep a lot as a teenager, at least. I mean, I can still sleep a lot, and I'm 40 years old. But so anyway, I had gotten off on 9/10 that night, and come home. And, everything happened at like 8 in the morning. So my mom, obviously everybody was up besides me because I worked late. And so my mom comes into my room, wakes me up, and she's like, hey, there people are flying planes into the World Trade Center. So I get up and I'm like, what are you talking about? So I get up, go out of the room, go into the where we had the TV at the time, and I just remember sitting there watching that thinking, what the heck is going on? The towers were on fire at that time, and I remember sitting there thinking, like, how the crap are they going to get these fires out? Because, it was just billowing out of both towers at the time, and, everybody obviously was sitting there glued to the TV watching this, and I just remember thinking, this is absolutely horrible. What is going on? We didn't really have any idea what was going on at that time. And so, you're just glued to the TV, you're just watching it, seeing what was going on. And I was just there watching this, and then I remember, sitting or laying on the couch and watching the TV, and the towers fell, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And it was just an absolute horrible, horrible thing to watch as those towers fell. And so I became a firefighter partially because of that, because I saw the bravery of the FDNY, the New York Fire Department, after I had moved to to Texas. Me and my now ex-wife, we moved to Texas, and I met up actually with a guy who was a firefighter at the time, and we were talking, trying to get a new career, because the one we'd come down there for hadn't really worked out. We were both in banking at the time, and that didn't really work out. And so he was like, "Hey, try this." And so I, obviously because of what had happened in 9/11, and I wanted to serve in some form or fashion, because I'd always wanted to do the military, and it was something that I had prayed about a lot. Prayed about joining the military, and the answer I always got was no, do not join the military. There's other ways you can serve. And so I didn't join the military, and so I was like, all right, I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to be a firefighter. I'm going to help out this way. I won't be abroad fighting off, terrorists or, serving the country that way. But I did end up becoming a firefighter, and actually, my parents are friends with Marcus Luttrell. He's the lone survivor, Navy SEAL, and we talked with him, and so he's like, that's great that you want to sit here and protect the guy, people at home. So it kind of made me feel a little bit better about what had happened, and the fact that I had chosen that instead. And so I did that, and since I'm still in healthcare, but no longer doing firefighting or EMS or anything like that. And that's another long story that I don't have time for today. But, so I did that. I decided to become a firefighter, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but, come to hear that this is, obviously this is the 22nd anniversary of 2001, and the 11th of 2012, as far as like Benghazi goes. But so for the last 3 years in a row, I'd heard about the 9/11 stair climb that firefighters do. They go on a stairmaster or a building or wherever, and not just firefighters but other people do it as well, and they climb up the 110 stories that the Twin Towers were. So I have done that the last 3 years. The first time I did it, it was close to about 40 minutes. It took me about 40 minutes to do the whole thing. And, it's not just straight doing it. I had, there's some breaks in there that I took, but I had climbed up the 110 floors the first time around, at my local gym here. And so then I did it last year, and so this year I did it again, and I actually have improved my time. Not to boast, that's not really what it's about. And I've made a TikTok about that. I totally forgot to do the socials, but yeah, I have a Facebook page, the Kate and Eric Show. Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter, Kate and Eric Show, True Social, Kate and Eric Show, and then I have launched a YouTube channel, so the Kate and Eric Show on YouTube as well, where I post some of the videos that I get through TikTok. Anyway, so I had done the stair climb this year, and I was doing it, and it was Monday. It was Monday night, obviously, and they had the Monday Night Football game on. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, and he runs out onto the field with the flag waving, and I was pumped up. I was, I don't know, maybe like 3/4 of the way up the 110 floors, and it just pumped me up. I wanted to scream, "Yeah, America, let's go!" As I was doing the stair climb, because it was really a very patriotic, very moving, very inspiring scene. And so I did that. After I'd finished, I hiked up the floor, in the last, I don't know, 10 or 15 floors that I was climbing. I play the phone calls that are on, that you can look up and listen to as people are calling. Actually, I think I will play some of that here, actually. This is what I listened to as I was finishing up.
Our number 1 is in staff, and our 5 is in staff. What's going on that is perhaps erratic again. Very well. Eddie, talk to me. Eddie, are you there? Eddie? Eddie? I'm calling you. What? It's 11:37? Well, who are you talking to? Oh, God. Oh, my God.
United 175, New York. We have some problems over here right now. We might have a hijack over here, too. Zero business sign, on an airplane that's been hijacked. If things will go well, looking good. I just want you to know I absolutely love you. I want you to do good. Don't have to sign. Same to my parents and everybody. And I just totally love you. And I'll see you like that. Bye, Dave.
So both towers are now.
Okay, come on, Doug. I got an aircraft coming out east of the White House. Hello? Crystal City, just north of Crystal City. This is north of your town. Yeah, stop all departures. Somebody's planning on this guy. Don't put in it. Goddamn, I can't protect like an NCA. United 93, that traffic for you is 1 o'clock, 12 miles east on 370. Negative contact, we're looking at United 93. United 93, Cleveland, if you hear the sound right now. I got something in the dock. You remaining to be. You have the ball for
Tuesday, 9:47 a.m. Hi, baby. Baby, you have to listen to me carefully. I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you. Please tell my children that I love them very much. And I'm so sorry, baby. I hope to be able to see your face again, baby. I love you. Bye.
56865. We have, I believe it is a Boeing 757. Can you see him up there, sir?
That's confirmed. Looks like he's rocking his wings.
Roger.
He's rocking back and forth.
For 56865, I advise you stay away from that aircraft. Go north as fast as you can.
United 93. Have you got information on that yet?
Yeah, he's down.
He's down?
Yes.
When did he land?
He did not land.
Oh, he's down?
Yes,
Down?
somewhere up northeast of Camp David.
Honestly, I just want to let you know I love you and I'm sick of this showbiz in New York. There's lots of smoke and we just want you to know that I love you so much. Number 2 World Trade Center, right?
Because you gotta help each other get off the floor. Now,
So I get a little emotional with this, as you can tell. So that is what I listened to I watched, and I listened to as I finished the stair climb on Monday. And you know, once I hit the 110 floor, I got off the stair climb, and I kind of had a realization that, or just kind of an epiphany that everything at the gym. I was at the gym, and everything was fine. There was no terrorist attack there where I was. There was no burning building. There was no anything like that. People just moseyed around. I got off. I went to go get one of the cleaning wipes, and I wiped down the machine, and I was done, and that was it. As I sat there and I thought, that 343 brave men did not just walk away like I did. Excuse me, I compose myself here. Okay, I'm okay now. But as I had finished the stair climb, I walked around and realized that 343 brave firefighters did not get to just walk off a stair climb and go about the rest of their evening. It was very humbling. It was a very eye-opening. I hadn't really experienced it the other two times I have done this, but it was an amazing experience to be able to do that, to watch that, to remember what had happened in 2001 as the world watched as we were attacked, and our World Trade Center eventually fell due to the attack. So I would encourage everybody to, if you're physically able, to at least try it. I don't do it for time. I'm not trying to do it in so I'm not trying to like run up 110 floors, because that wouldn't really work. I don't think I'll last very long. But yeah, if you're physically able, I would definitely encourage you to at least try it. I pause it, like I said, and throughout the climb there, just to take little breaks. And I kind of realized that as it took about 30 minutes, but I'm in gym shorts, and I'm in a t-shirt and a hat and stuff like that. I'm not in bunker gear. I'm not carrying up tools. I'm not carrying up hoses or anything like that. So if I were to do it that way, it probably would take me a little bit longer than 30 minutes to get up there. But I know people who have done that in full bunker gear and have done the stair climb. But if you're able to, I would definitely encourage it. It is very eye-opening, and it's a very humbling experience to sit there and realize that they climbed up there. They tried to fight the fires as best they could before the buildings collapsed. So that is my experience with 9/11 and in September of 2001. And then we have the lovely president, who is the first president. Now, granted, there's only been three. George Bush obviously was the president at that time, and then we've had Obama, and then Trump. He was great. But Biden this year did not go either to the White House, Ground Zero in New York City, or in Pennsylvania, or the Pentagon. He is the first U.S. president not to have been at one of those four sites to pay honor and homage to 9/11. And the excuse that this stinking administration gave is that, Peter Doocy asked them, and this is their response.
Our focus the last couple days has been on President Biden here in South Asia. And when I asked a White House official why it is that President Biden was here and missing the 9/11 commemorations at the attack sites, the analogy that I was given is that 22 years after Pearl Harbor, U.S. presidents were not still going to visit Hawaii.
So that's their excuse. That is their ridiculous garbage excuse. There is absolutely no reason for that. You go there, you pay honor to those that lost their lives. But, with this administration, they don't care about America. It's America last. They don't care about what has happened to Americans. I mean, he sat there and, he had his, and of course he lied. He lied about what happened in 9/11, where he was, what he was doing, because he's a lying sack of dog crap that, I mean, just, oh, well, here, I'll let you listen to this, but this is the rest of what Peter Doocy had to say.
The entire time that the real-time commemorations of the September 11th terrorist attacks are happening this morning, and we expect to see him in the 4 p.m. Eastern hour there in Alaska for an event with first responders and military there. Back to you.
Peter, I'm sure every president is tired when they travel so far, when the time changes are different. But have we ever had a president in the history of our country stand up at the podium and say, I'm tired, I'm going to bed?
Yeah, so that was their, I'll finish this here in a minute, but that was their excuse that, oh, well, he traveled around the world because he went to Vietnam, he went to this, he did that, blah, 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 blah. So he's tired, he can't do it. So that was their excuse.
It's possible, and he did have a long night in terms of working Eastern hours. So, like, he was up basically from 11:30 p.m. Eastern through that comment was made in the 10 a.m. Eastern hour. But, it was like early evening here. It was morning back in the States, and so it was surprising to hear that he didn't have a few more minutes for questions for a press corps that did travel all the way to Vietnam to talk to him, and that he had to go upstairs at the hotel where that event was to call it a night.
Just pathetic. Just an absolutely pathetic administration. This is the most horrific attack done to America on our soil, and you're too tired or you can't be at one of the sites, you scumbag. As you can tell, I'm a little mad, a little angry, because this is ridiculous. You're the president of the freaking United States. Be the president of the United States then. You wanted the job. You claim that the buck stops with you. Then be the freaking president of the United States. But this is what he had to say once he got to Alaska.
Renew our sacred vow. Never forget. Never forget. We never forget. Each of us, each of those precious lives stolen too soon when evil attacked. Ground Zero in New York. And I remember standing there the next day and looking at the building. I felt like I was looking through the gates of hell. It looked so devastating because from where you could stand.
Yeah, that was.
So basically what he's saying right there is 9/12 he went to New York City. He was standing there at Ground Zero and looking through what he said, the gates of hell. Yeah, that's a big freaking lie. He was sitting at the Senate floor making some kind of a ridiculous speech on 9/12. He was not there on 9/12. And the press I guess they're just sick and tired of it. I mean, hello, welcome to the club. But they're calling him out on the lies, and this is what their excuse is for him.
In the past couple of weeks, the president has lied about being at Ground Zero the day after the September 11th attacks, falsely claimed he saw the Pittsburgh Bridge collapse, claimed his grandfather died in the hospital days before his birth. What is going on with the president? Is he just believing things that did happen, or is he just randomly making stuff up?
The president was deeply touched and honored to be able to spend 9/11 with military members there in Alaska and some families.
That's not what he asked.
And was honored by their presence and the chance to make an important set of remarks about why we need to continue to remember that day. And he did that. And he spoke about a visit to Ground Zero, which he did participate in. About a week or so after the event, and what that looked and what that smelled and what that felt like. And it had a visceral impact on him, as it did so many other Americans on that terrible day. And he's focused on making sure that an attack like that never happens again, which is why we've improved our over-the-horizon counterterrorism capability, and why we continue to hold terrorist networks accountable. And it's why he spent so much time last week shoring up our national security interests in a vital part of the world on issues that aren't necessarily tied to terrorism, but very much tied to our ability to secure peace and prosperity there around the world.
String of saying things that happened, things that are easily debunked. Why does he keep doing that?
The president was grateful to spend that time with those family members and those troops.
What a piece of garbage. Answer the freaking question. Why is this president constantly lying every time he opens his mouth? Yeah, he's so concerned. This administration is so concerned about not, making sure that nothing bad happens to Americans again. How about closing the border there, bro? How about you close the border there? Yeah, because they supposedly caught this ISIS sympathizer out, human trafficking people, getting people into the country. Yeah, so if he's so concerned about making sure that something like 9/11 doesn't happen again, he's doing a real poor job of it there. He's doing an absolute horrific job at making sure that Americans are safe, about making sure that the United States is secure. These people just don't, they're absolutely horrible. And an excerpt from Joe Biden's book, Promises to Keep, he said, "I could see a brown haze of smoke hanging in the otherwise crystal clear beyond the Capitol dome." He wrote in the book, "I headed back to the Capitol the next morning, September 12th, 2001. That's in his book. So he lied about being at Ground Zero on the next day. The press has pointed out, he supposedly was there when that bridge collapsed, which he wasn't. He was his grandpa did not die in the hospital where he was born at, like he said it is. He lies through his freaking Marxist teeth anytime he opens it. And not only that, but you have Vice President Harris comparing 9/11 and Pearl Harbor to January 6th. So take a listen to this.
A place on our calendars, but a place in our collective memory. December 7th, 1941. September 11th, 2001. And January 6th, 2021.
Are you freaking kidding me? Really? So, December 7th, 1941 was the day the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. Okay, so we lost, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head right now, but 3,000? We lost 3,000 people there on Pearl Harbor. Over 3,000 when Islamic terrorists flew into the World Trade Center, Pentagon, and Flight 93, those brave men and women that took down that flight before who knows what it was their target was. So those two things right there, the two most horrific things in U.S. history, is compared to January 6th when a bunch of people who were meandering around the Capitol, that's what you're comparing it to? That's how horrible that January 6th is compared to those two? Are you freaking kidding me, Kamala? Is everybody awake yet to these scumbags? It's just insane. It's just absolutely insanity. Who these, and they don't care. They don't care. They'll say the lies. They'll say the line. Blah 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 blah. But before I forget and before I move on here, I want to go over and pay honor and respect to what happened in Benghazi as well, because I had noticed that on social medias and things, I didn't really see anything, which is kind of sad because, we did lose American lives then as well. So I would like to play this little clip to honor Benghazi as well.
The fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a
they decided they'd go kill some Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
Oh, she is a horrific.
I think they went in and out of there probably 5 to 7 times looking for the ambassador.
I don't know if I'd mentioned this on the show or just to you, but Tyrone Woods, I mean, he put me through BUDS, he put me through SQT, which is SEAL qualification training.
So yeah, that was Hillary Clinton. She was Secretary of State at the time, and she was sitting there like, oh, did they coordinate that, or at what point, at this point, what does it matter? Oh, okay. So the fact that we lost an ambassador and 3 American servicemen, it doesn't matter, So what? Who cares? So I would like to pay respect to them as well for what they did. And unfortunately, I have not yet seen 13 Hours. The John, I think it's Les Cusack or something. I don't know, Jim from The Office. I have not yet seen that movie. I've seen parts of it, but I have not fully watched it. So if you've watched it, let me know. The Kate and Eric Show on Facebook or X, TikTok, and YouTube as well. Just let me know if it is what you think of that movie, because I really do want to watch that. Just for whatever reason, I haven't made the time to watch it yet. So there's that. I mean, it's just horrific, absolutely horrible. These people are just the absolute worst on the planet. I mean, they're just awful, awful, awful people. They are just anti-American. America lasts. And, it's blatantly obvious. Just hopefully people will continue to wake up and realize what dirtbags they are and get them the hell out of office. Because do we survive another 4 years if Biden gets elected? If the elections are actually fair and there's no shenanigans going on. But, yeah. So I really appreciate everybody who listens. I really, really appreciate everybody taking the time to listen to this podcast. It's really encouraging when I go on and to the website that I go through and I see all the downloads across the different platforms. I am on everywhere. So please like, subscribe, share, follow, rate, share it with other people. Because, the more, I really truly believe that we are not in the minority. We are the majority of people out there, and that actually love and care about this country and want it to succeed, want it to be prosperous, and are just tired of the lies. I mean, everybody's tired of the lies. They're tired of everything. And I just got an update here where the impeachment process has begun, Kevin McCarthy. So hopefully that will actually come into some fruition and they can get something like that going on. And then the media wants that information suppressed. The White House does. Hey, what a shocker. The White House wants the impeachment process suppressed. Wow. What a shocker there. I just don't understand it. I don't understand. If you want to be the president, it's just about power and money. It seems like with any of these people here. And then, also breaking news: Hunter Biden is indicted on 3 gun charges. So great! It's about damn time. I mean, come on, let's get these balls moving here. We gotta get these. We gotta get them out. Pay attention. Wake up. Because America is great. We're not perfect. No country is perfect. But we are great. We are a great and amazing nation, and we are. I don't think we're sunk. I really don't. Maybe I'm just being too optimistic. Because in doing show prep and doing all these other things, doing TikToks and uploading to YouTube and Facebook and other things, it's just I look at it and I think like, oh my God. Oh boy. But I really, really do think that the United States, that we are not sunk. I think that we have been asleep at the wheel, that we, the people, have been asleep for a long time, and we've allowed a lot of things to happen. We've allowed a lot of things to come in, and it's going to take a lot of hard work to get this out. I've joked around with some of my family and friends and say, like, hey, if the founding fathers, if they were where we are, they would have revolted by now from our own government. Just the amount of just oppression and just overreaching and everything else. So hopefully you have a good rest of your week. And again, you can follow me on, I have the Facebook page, The Kate and Eric Show. I tried my best to get content on every social site. Sometimes it's a little difficult because I do have a full-time job as well, but I will get as much as on there. Like I said, I have opened and launched a new YouTube channel, so The Kate and Eric Show on YouTube. If you're, because I kind of realized that talking with family and friends, not everybody's on TikTok to see some of those, so I will upload those videos that I take from TikTok onto YouTube. So please check that out. Like, subscribe, and share. If you would please, 5 stars. I really would appreciate it. Only a 5-star. But yeah, so like I said, the Facebook page, The Kate and Eric Show, YouTube, Kate and Eric Show, True Social, and Twitter. I was going to say Twitch, but I'm not on Twitch. So The Kate and Eric Show. On all those social medias and platforms and things. So I really appreciate likes, subscribes, and shares. So please do that if you are able to. And hopefully you have had a great week. And we've got some exciting college football, NFL football this week, as well as baseball. So hopefully you've had a great week. And I will talk with you next time. Have a good one. Bye.